Nothing is harder than college wrestling. It's so hard. Yeah. It's so
every
much.
day.
Every single day. Like the hardest day of the week is coming to wrestling practice. And I have to do that every single day.
So, hello everybody. Today I am here with Archie Colgan. I'm so excited for this meeting, bro.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you taking
you.
the time out of your training and busy schedule to sit down.
Of course.
And, it's nice for me to get to know you even better. But I think hopefully for some of the people who watch this, get to know. I've got my little list of personal questions here for you. You can object to any of them. That's the lawyer thing, right? Objection.
Yeah. I object.
But I got my little, mostly out of curiosity. So for those of you who don't know, Archie and I met a long time ago, and then we kind of just got reconnected on accident up here at the gym where he trains at. And so we sponsored Corey Sandhagen and was up here with Corey and spent some time with him. And I look over and who's this guy? I'm like, Archie, dude, what's up? We hugged, and I think I was at one of your earliest fights.
Yeah, my first fight, I think.
Is that your very first fight up there?
It was my first amateur fight.
Yeah, what was that place called?
Like Jefferson County Fairgrounds.
Yeah, the Fairgrounds. Yeah. And I was up there. My neighbor was your wrestling coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My high school coach.
Yeah, Sam Federico. Tremendous man, great guy, and was your high school coach. And he was like, hey, we got to go up and watch my man fight.
Yeah.
I went up there and had a great time and watched you, and man, how things have changed.
Yeah, I mean, it's progressed a lot since then. That was like 6 years ago and 14 fights ago. 15 fights ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you have any idea that it would go this far? When you were doing it then, was your goal like, hey, this is what I'm going to dedicate my life to? Or at that point, were you just kind of testing it?
No, at that point, I was still testing it. Like, I was just taking the fights because I was like training hard and trying to see if I had it. But I was not like, I'm going to go pro, because those were amateur fights at the time. Yes. I was not like, I'm going to go pro and I'm going to make a career out of this and like really run towards like world championship. That was not my plan. I was like, still trying to kind of get my mom's grace and be like, hey, you can do this thing. But also like, I was just testing the waters and seeing it out, and it went really well for me. So
yeah, I would say it did. That's really cool. In fact, I've got some questions in here about your family a little bit, so I want to ask you about your mom. But I want to tell you first, one of the things that impressed me back then and impresses me today at Ramos Law, our goal wasn't to start sponsoring fighters. We love people, we care for people, but we are fighters in the law firm. We care about defending people and deeply getting to know them. And when I saw you up here in the gym training, I just remembered that, or I felt, when you tell you cut from the same cloth as somebody?
Yeah.
I felt that way about you. And how have you managed to, through all of that, I mean, you're beating up people all the time. How have you managed to not get too macho and stay humble, so to say? Because, you were humble back then. I met you that night at the fight, and I met you several times at Sam's house. And, you've always just been humble. Is that something that's hard? Is it just you naturally?
I think that's me naturally, honestly. Like, I guess there was probably times in my life where maybe I was a little bit more like ego driven and like head high. But yeah, I think, I don't like picturing myself being like above, better than people. Like in that sense, I like to just keep myself pretty calm and straightforward and not get too high, not get too low. Just try to stay pretty, steady on just like who I am, but also like everything that I'm doing. I think something that like keeps me humble in that sense. It's like we were talking earlier. It's like, the coaching wrestling.
Yes,
not getting too far extended from like what my roots are and like who I am. I think that's like really helped me. And then I just have like good parents that raised me to like be a humble young man. So anytime that, I meet somebody who's like an elder to me, I still go to my roots of being like, respect to them first. Yes. Being the elder, and I think that's just kind of like stuck through me.
That's cool. And now Archie's passing that on. He coaches high school wrestling team that's, they've won 7 straight state titles, and he's one of the coaches for that team, a phenomenal group of coaches. And, kind of just goes to show you, keeping yourself involved in the community. And hopefully now, as you said, those kids will see you doing that, and maybe they'll behave that way.
Yeah, maybe they will.
I love that. And that is of the same cloth. That's exactly how I was raised, and I still feel the same way.
Yeah.
Now, so let's back up just a little bit. You mentioned your wife earlier when we were talking. What'd your wife think about this fight and stuff, and get involved in this? What was she like? Hold on, Archie. I want you to go get a different job. Tell me what.
So at the time when like I was like first doing the fighting thing, I was a full-time sales rep Like I was, full-time job, 9 to 5 doing the sales. And then I came to her, was like, hey, I'm training, and she knew I was training. And when I told her like, hey, I think I'm going to take a fight, she was like, you sure? And she was all aboard. She was like, go ahead and do it.
Wow.
Yeah. So, my wife is, kind of at the time I was in a weird state where I had just left college wrestling, like kind of abruptly. I didn't like plan on being done as an athlete, but it just like I ended and I never got back to training. So I was kind of like in a weird, sad place generally, and I was like working this job and I was like, dang, life changed quick. Like I went from athlete to working a 9 to 5 job, and like there was like no time for me to like really understand that. And she kind of knew I was not very happy about it, and it was like in a weird state. So then when I had this opportunity and like started meeting these people and got connected with these guys, I was like, hey, I think I could, take a fight. And she was like, go for it, go try it. And she was like super supportive.
Wow.
And neither one of us knew like what was going to happen with it. It was like, yeah, you go ahead and take an MMA fight. And then it went really well. And then it went really well again. And I was like, hey, I think I might try to pursue this as a job. And like, so what do you think? And she was like, go ahead.
And were you enjoying it at that point? The
Yeah.
training and the fighting?
Yeah.
Okay, now, and you'd wrestled in what, Wyoming, was it?
Yeah, University of Wyoming.
Okay, and did you enjoy college wrestling?
Yeah. College wrestling, it was hard. Man, college wrestling, nothing is harder than college wrestling. It's so hard. Yeah.
Just
It's
pushing
so
every
much.
day, kind of
Every
a thing.
single day. Like the hardest day of the week is coming to wrestling practice. And I had to do that every single day. And we're doing an hour 30 of wrestling practice. And up in college, we're doing 3 hours, 2 hours every day. Like college wrestling is so hard.
Had to help a lot with what you're doing now.
Oh yeah.
Because now you know how to train hard.
Yeah. It's all into perspective now. It's like, I know I can do more.
Did you keep in touch with any of your buddies that you
yeah.
wrestle with?
Yeah, I'm still close with a lot of those guys. Some of these guys are like still they become coaches at University of Wyoming.
Oh.
So I still go up and support the team, and got good connection with those guys still.
Oh, that's fantastic. Where Ramos Law is sponsoring the Josh Allen retirement jersey.
Oh, nice.
So we're taking a bunch of team up there. I'm excited.
Nice.
We really like the University of Wyoming. So
Yeah, go Pokes.
yeah. Now let's jump into another thing. So wife, any kids?
Yeah, I have 2 boys and a daughter on the way in January.
Congratulations,
Yeah.
man.
Thank
Daughter
Thank
coming.
you.
That's good.
Yeah.
So I have 2 boys and a daughter.
Okay.
Yeah, but mine are quite a bit of age difference. I got like 24, 22, and 20. What are yours?
4, 2, and then born in January.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so now when they get older, are you going to allow them to attend your fights? How's that work? Like as a
Yeah.
parent, like I can see this mixed emotions. Like it's cool for them to see what dad does. And the other side, I could see if dad has a rough night and bleeding, even if you win or something, your kid's being a little bit freaked out by it.
Yeah. I have mixed emotions on it because my older son, he's been to a couple of my fights, but he was really young. He was like 2 or younger than 2. So, like not really old enough to comprehend what's going on. But as he's gotten older, my wife had got pregnant with the other kid, and it's been hard for her to make the fights. And I'm a little hesitant on it, because it's like, MMA is just a rough sport.
Yeah, right.
And there's like, part of me wants them to see the work that I do, but the also side is like, man, it's like, there's always the what ifs. Right. I think they'll come to my events, but it just, on the hindsight looking out, it's like,
Yeah, that's why I can see you get across that bridge when you get there a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Now you have brothers and sisters?
yeah, I have a brother, older brother, older sister.
Okay, and what do they do? They're fighting in any way?
No fighting. My brother did wrestle in high school, but no, they're both just like graduated from college, working their jobs. They're not in MMA. My sister was a gymnast. She was a very good gymnast. My brother was a good wrestler for Pomona as well. But no, they graduated college and then didn't compete in college with athletic sports at all, and they just became just professionals, business professionals.
Got it. Now we talked about your wife and her support, and actually surprising to me, said, "Yeah, you'll go for it." How about your mom and dad? What did they think?
They were pushed back. I think.
Did they watch MMA before this started? Did they watch MMA before? Okay, so they were aware of what you were.
Yeah, they know what it is. They knew what it was because I grew up watching it. My dad would take me to friends' houses, and we would all watch the events coming on in the fights. Like we were MMA fans, kind of. But my mom, she doesn't really care about any of that stuff. She doesn't. Yeah. My mom was more hesitant up front about it, and I think now my dad's very supportive. Both my parents are very supportive.
Oh, good.
But I'm sure they'd rather their son be doing something else.
Do they watch the fights?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
They don't miss an event. They watch.
Wow.
They host fight parties if they can't make it, in person.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it's your baby out there fighting. So from their perspective, it's kind of hard to like put myself in their shoes, but it's my journey.
Wow, yeah, that's something I can't. I'm thinking as a parent, as you're saying that, I'm thinking of my 24-year-old or 22-year-old boy we're fighting right now. Like, ooh, yeah,
it's like I love you. I'll be there for you.
Yeah. I want to support them, jump in the ring and help, but they're not in trouble, Okay, so you grew up here locally in Colorado.
Yeah.
Just stayed, other than the Wyoming days. Is that right?
Yep.
And tell me about now, because I actually looked this up before I came to meet with you, because there's the PFL, right? Professional Fighting League.
Yep.
There's the UFC with Corey, when I met you again up here.
Yep.
What he's in. And it sounds like essentially identical, except one has, 10-sided ring? I think the PFL has 10, versus the Octagon.
It's the 8, yeah.
Yeah, does it really matter?
No, not really. No, the difference in the cage isn't really a big difference. Nah. I mean, if it becomes a square or something, then it can, or a triangle, like if it starts like changing up the sides in general, then it can get a little bit weird. But before PFL, I fought in an organization called Bellator.
Okay.
And they were just like, it was just like a cage circle.
Okay.
And it's like, I didn't even notice the difference when I changed over.
Okay, and it sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong in these things, my research is all Google research here. That's not always very reliable. It sounds like in the PFL, there's like a tournament or something style where you fight your way up, and at the end of the year, people get to fight for the championship or something.
Yeah.
And whereas in the UFC, it's just kind of random. People are getting ranked a little higher and finally getting their title shot.
Yeah.
So is there like a title coming up in the PFL, or has that already happened? Explain that to me and to the listeners, because some other people might be like me and might be kind of curious.
Yeah. I mean, it's very confusing. Actually, coming up this following year, like coming into 2026, they're doing away with the tournament series. They're not doing it because it is confusing, and people are like, "Well, who's the champion? Like, what's going on? Like, so there's 2 champions. There's a tournament champion and then a real champion." It got confusing. So what they did do is they ran a tournament for every weight class, and then there was a separate champion of the weight class.
Okay.
And then the ideal plan is to do a champion versus champion. So somebody wins the tournament, and the champion of that fights the champion.
Oh, I see.
Right, the real champion. So then it got confusing because then it was like, well, there's 2 champions, so then what's going on. So moving forward in 2026, it's going to be just like the UFC, where it's just like one champion, and then the top contenders, and the champions got to fight the top contenders.
So you kind of keep beating another contender, and you're pretty quick you're getting your shot at the title.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and are you like that kind of format it's going to?
Ideally, yeah. I've my 2 fights ago, I fought the number 1 contender fight, won the fight very dominantly.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, didn't get the title shot. Fought again. It's a little frustrating a little bit, but hopefully with this new structure, it's going to be very ironed out and like cut and dry. Like, this is who's next, and then it's just very, very straightforward.
You can kind of plow your route, your road how you want to. Okay. Now, so how does it work? Are you under a contract with the PFL where you can't fight in the UFC, or vice versa? UFC guy can't because he's under contract. They protect where you can fight.
Exactly. Yeah. So like you sign. Everybody's contract is different, so I don't know, but for general, like a basic contract is like a 4-fight contract.
Okay.
Or it's like 4 fights or like a year and a half. So like 4 fights or 18 months or whatever, right? But like in the 4 fights, typically the 3rd fight in. So before you can fight out the full contract, the full 4 fights.
Yes.
That 3rd fight, they'll try to renegotiate if they like you. If they don't really like you, then they'll let you fight that 4th and out maybe, and they'll just see. All right. And as a fighter, you can also fight your contract out to like test the waters a little bit. So like you could fight all 4 fights, become a free agent, and then see what, if you're in the UFC, see what the PFL has to offer. Or if you're in the PFL, see what the UFC has to offer. Or you can also like fight your contract out and then become a free agent and then test the waters in both places. And then find your contract, whatever it is.
Okay.
But yeah, typically like if you're signed with the organization, you're not gonna be able to fight for anybody else until you become a free agent.
Got it.
And then you can like start to test the waters about different promotions.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering how that worked, because I mean, clearly, seen your fights, and you're fighting in looks to me like whatever label you want to put on this stuff, UFC or PFL or whatever. Yeah. I mean, it's all a bunch of guys in battle. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when you got went into this and you kind of start doing fights, you're doing an amateur, where did you kind of go, okay, I'm going to get an agent? Like, how does that work? Like, I can see, let me give you an example. Like, I can see coming out of college football, for example. You're playing in college, pretty quick, you're first team All-American, and pretty quick somebody's kind of talking to you, or now with this portal, you're like a high trade guy, and kind of an agent starts talking to you, kind of see your trajectories going to the NFL. How do you, in fighting, fighting as an amateur, and then all of a sudden you're talking to somebody about being your agent. Does somebody just walk up to you and say, hey, dude, I want to be your agent? I mean, how's that work?
Yeah. There's sort of like some of these people do approach you. I mean, they see the talent. They're like, okay, he's probably going to go pro. They do start to approach you. But for my amateur fights, like I was approached, but I was like, I'm an amateur. I don't need a manager right now.
Right.
So I continued without it. But I ideally wanted 5 amateur fights, and I got 3.
Okay.
And after my third, like I was looking all over the place, and I couldn't get a fight. Like I looked for guys in California, then another guy that was like in Nebraska, another guy that was in like Illinois, and I like couldn't get a fight. So we were looking. I spent like 6-8 months like trying to find somebody else to fight so I could get to my 5 amateur fights, because I was like just a goal that I set to myself. Yeah. And I like couldn't find a fight.
Wow.
So my coaches were looking, I was looking, other coaches were looking. We like just couldn't get one. And I was just like getting frustrated a little bit. And I didn't want to be benched for that long.
Right.
And then I was talking to my coach, and he was like, I think you just get a manager and we turn pro and just start going. And I was like, all right. And then I got a manager. And
what'd you do? Like Google Manager? Or talking about your buddies in the gym?
I reached out to one of the guys that had reached out to me.
Oh, really?
Some of these guys that had reached out. I was like, I'm an amateur. I don't need fights. But I called him back finally. He was like, hey, look, I think we're ready to turn pro, and I can't find these fights. It's been frustrating. So, can you help us? Like, I'm ready to turn pro. Like, let's get it going. And he was like, yeah. And then, they got me a fight probably within like 2-3 months. Oh, wow. And then another like 2 months after that, I got another fight, and I stayed pretty active right after that.
So that's the big advantage to getting that manager. Then that's and then they set you up with people like us, like with us, wanting to sponsor you and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, the managers, they got like foots in the door on some of these promotions, and being able to speak. And they manage 100 fighters, so when they talk to these promotions, and their voice carries weight.
Yes.
So like when hey, this guy's tough, you want him to fight for your show. They're like, all right, we trust you because you've also brought this guy and this guy and this guy. Yeah. So it kind of carries just a little bit of weight with it.
They have a track record.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But it was frustrating for like 6-8 months. I was like trying to get to these 5 fights. I was like, man, I'm just trying to fight. I just want to compete. Why don't these guys want to compete?
Now I notice now you fight like, it looked to me like about 3 times a year, right?
Yeah.
And they look to me like they're fairly spread out, like kind of, it's like every 3rd or 4th month. Is there a strategy to that?
No, for me, I really want to fight 3-ish times a year. Right? This last year it's been 2. Ideally, like a little bit more space in between. 3-4 months is nice. I think my last one was like 2 or 3 months. It's just hard on the body to do weight cut and then weight cut again.
Right.
Because it's like I don't weigh 155 pounds. I weigh 180 pounds, 183 pounds. So like to do that back to back is just hard on the taxing on the body.
Yeah.
So like 3-4 months is nice. That's like the ideal. And I'm just like young in my career, so I want to still compete active. Some of these other guys, like maybe Corey, he probably wants to stay active as well. But like guys like Justin, who you met earlier, like he's like 1 to 2 times a year is good for him. But like right now for me, I want to compete like 3 times a year.
Wow. And do you notice like your body now starting to understand that regimen? Like about every 4 months? Does your body get in a cycle like that or not?
Yeah, really? It's weird. Like every fight camp, I'm always like frustrated that my weight's not coming down the way I wanted to. And then it's like your body just knows as it's getting closer, like the weight just starts dropping by itself. And nothing really changes. Like it's still on the same diet, still eating the same food, still doing the same workouts. And you're just like, man, why is my weight not dropping? And then it's like, why when it needs to start dropping, you jump on there and the scale just starts going down. I'm like, oh wow. It's like your body. I wonder if there's science behind this. Maybe a scientist is out there and can tell me if this is true. But it's almost like your body really understands like it's approaching and now it needs to start like preparing itself to get down the weight and stuff. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, no, that's an animal instinct in this, right? Like, bears hibernating and circadian rhythms of sleep and, different things. So, yeah, no, absolutely. So tell me a little bit about your pre-fight. And I'm not talking about those months now. I'm talking about actual pre-fight.
Yeah.
Let's say the week of the fight. Do you have is there a pretty particular routine you stay to? Or diet, exercise-wise, sleep-wise, that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So I try to keep myself up at night just because, like, typically you're going to fight 8 p.m. or later. So I try to keep myself up and stay up to like midnight and then fall asleep. And then because really like throughout the fight week, throughout the days, you're really not doing too much. So I have plenty of time to like sleep in if I need to. But I'd like to keep myself up and awake and alert at like 8, 10 o'clock. I try to stride. Yeah, exactly. Like I'm still feeling good. They're not like starting to get sleepy and like trying to go to bed at that time. But also like around 7 or 8, I try to do my workouts at night during fight week. So I like my body adjusts to like being able to work hard during those hours instead of like working out at noon or 2 o'clock or something like that. So throughout the fight week, I intentionally lay around all day, maybe go sightsee a little bit, but hang out and don't do too much. And then 7, 8 o'clock, now we go to the gym. We get a good hard workout in, then come home, shower. Then it's 10 o'clock, and then you hang out for another couple hours, and then it's midnight. It's like, okay, now it's time.
Now, this last fight you did was in Dubai.
Yeah.
Does the time zone kind of screw with you a little bit, too?
A little bit, yeah. So I went out there like 12 or 13 days before the fight, so I can like acclimate. Mm-hmm. And probably the first 5 days, 4 or 5 days, like I needed to acclimate because I would like go to bed at like 10 o'clock the first couple of days, and I'd wake up, wide awake at like 3 a.m. and couldn't go to sleep. Yeah. No. And like could not fall asleep. And that was probably like the first 3, 4 or 5 days. Yeah, I was like just wake up and I was just like laying there, go back to sleep. And, I just couldn't sleep, so then I'd get up and do stuff. And then the craziest part was that I didn't get tired like all day. Like I was up all day long. So then I'd like force myself to stay up later in the day when I'd start to get tired, and then try to fall asleep again at 10 o'clock, and then you'd wake up again like 3, 4 a.m. It's like, oh man, this is rough. But then after like the 4 or 5 days, then your body starts to sleep in. You wake up 8 a.m., starts feeling 9 a.m., and then you're good.
Now, do you take your family, your wife and kids on trips like that, or do they stay home so it's all business when you're over there?
They haven't come yet. I'm not against bringing them. Mm-hmm. We were kind of planning on maybe going, but she was going to be super pregnant. So flying across the world to Dubai was like, it was like a 16-hour. Well, it's like really altogether, it was like 18, 19 hours of flight time. So it's like, that's kind of rough on anybody.
Right.
And then you add into being pregnant with toddlers,
Yes.
So.
Oh, man.
Ideally, I would like them to come and like travel and experience the world too. Like it's pretty cool, like that you get to go fight in different countries and then experience different cultures and parts of the world. Like I never thought I'd go to Dubai.
Right.
But it's really cool that you got your job took you there, paid you to go out there, and you get to experience this whole new culture and part of the world that was like, I don't know, just not on your checklist. But now it's like, man, I'd go back. Like that was pretty cool.
What an opportunity.
Yeah.
So pre-fight, you kind of prep yourself that way. Post-fight, do you take time off? Like do you go, I'm rewarding myself for the week, I'm rewarding myself for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or is it just like, man, you're back in the gym 3 days later? Like, how's that work?
I do like 1 week outside of the gym. Like I don't even come just watch people train or anything. I just don't go to the gym for a week.
Okay.
Just like mental reset, get hungry again. Like because throughout that week, I want to go to the gym. The entire time I'm like, I want to go do this. I want to go do that. I want to go see these people. I want to go to the gym. So it's like mentally pulling myself back. Ooh. So then like you're kind of chomping at the bit a little bit. So then the weeks leading up, then you're like, all right, now let's go back to the gym. But I since my first fight, I've pulled myself back. Like I give myself 1 week where I just don't go to the gym. I don't go, see people training or get around training. I just pull back. And then after that week, I start going back.
And I can see how that's pretty cool. Now, let me back up a little bit. How's the mindset going back to that fight week, that pre-fight week? What's the mindset there? Is there something you do to motivate yourself? I mean, I imagine you're plenty motivated anyway. Yeah. But is there something you do? I mean, do you do visualization type stuff? What kind of things do you do to keep yourself like when you feel you're like spot on, sharp?
During fight week, I just try my best to like stay calm.
Okay.
And like,
is that reading? Like what keeps you calm? You meditate? Is there,
No, just not getting in my head too much. I think that's the biggest part. Is like you start thinking about the fight. Because like I said, like you're hanging around all day. You're not really doing too much. So you have a lot of time to just lay in your room and just like
that would be
thinking about the fight that's coming in 10 days. And you can't control it in 10 days, So it's like you got to really utilize those days leading up to the fight. So, I mean, I just like hang out with the team. That's probably like my favorite part. There's a lot of fighters, like they don't want to be around food because they're cutting weight. They don't want to go do things because they're tired. I force myself to like get out and go hang out with the team. They're like, hey, we're going to go to dinner. We're going to go to breakfast. I'm like, let's go. And I'll go with them. Just so I like burn time. And I hang out with them and just like be Archie. Not in fight mode right now. Like just be in the moment of like enjoying, the situation and the fruits of the labor that brought you out to this part of the world and like just enjoying it all. And then as we get closer, you start to get edgy and you start to, your brain, it's like we were talking about, just like the primal side starts to zone in and like bring itself out. Like I don't force it. It just starts to happen itself. You get edgy, you get antsy. It's like, and then it's fight time and your body knows.
Was it that way for you in college wrestling or even in high school wrestling? Was it that way or is this a different mindset?
I feel like the reason I am the way I am now is because I put too much pressure on myself when I was in college. Like I got to step back and realize that I was flawed in the way that I was preparing back then. Like I put too much pressure. I overthought it. I was thinking about wrestling all the time and how I have to win. I have to do these things. And like I wasn't enjoying when we'd go, we went to Washington, D.C. one time and we toured the entire thing. I was just thinking about wrestling the entire time. And it's like, it's just so flawed. Like just enjoy the moment. Because when you got to compete, you got to go wrestle, you got to go wrestle. Yeah. When you got to go fight, you got to go fight. So I feel like I am the way now because I'm like reviewing and being like, that was wrong. Like you weren't enjoying wrestling. You were just like forcing yourself. You were wrestling, but you weren't enjoying like all the things that wrestling brought you. And now, because of that, like I sit around when I go to these fights, like I enjoy fighting and I enjoy everything that fighting is bringing me to. Like I enjoy going to these cities, having fun with my team. The people that love me that have traveled across the world, left their families to come support this. Like we're all hanging out, enjoying this. Because when the time comes to fight, I know I'm going to fight. I know I'm going to show up.
Wow, what a step of maturity, man.
Yeah.
I hear that. Okay, so I want to step off the fighting stuff for a minute.
All right.
Outside the ring. Like, we were talking about fishing earlier because Sam showed you that big fish I got.
Yeah.
I love to fish. Outside the ring, what do you love to do? If you have that free day, you're not training, go do anything, what is it?
I'm starting to get into cooking.
Really?
Yeah.
Come on. Particular type of food?
Or? Yeah, I like smoking food now.
Really?
Yeah, I recently got like a Traeger. Actually, I got a Traeger probably like a year ago, but I recently started like smoking food on it and people are, I'm feeding people and they're loving the food and it's getting me like, I never thought that. Like,
even after your old high school coach being around Sam all those years?
Oh, yeah. He's a good fisher. He's a good smoker, too.
That guy can cook like nobody's business.
I know. And I just never really understood the joy that people got from cooking. Wow. And I started cooking, and I'm like, I'm invested now.
Did you take lessons or you start reading?
No,
what you do?
When I'm saying, like on the downtime during the fight weeks, I was just watching videos of people cooking and just learning. And I was like, I'm doing it because I can't eat, so I'm like watching good food. But I'm also, I'm like, man, that looks good. I can't wait to eat that. I can't wait to eat that. But also, like, I was just watching. I was like, I could do that. And then I started trying to do it, and everyone's like, man, this is good. I was like, oh, I kind of found something. I'm not saying I'm going to be a cook, but I do have a lot of fun cooking is cool. Now. Yeah.
Is there anything you enjoy doing with your wife? Does she like cooking, or is there something you guys go do together?
Man, right now, I mean, you remember the stage. Yeah. So it's not like we and her leave the kids, but we go do stuff as family. Like we like taking the kids out. It's like the parks and stuff and going to do things. So it's like we're in that stage right now where it's like hard. We don't leave the kids together.
I forgot. When I asked that question, I forgot. You're exactly right.
Yeah. Unfortunately, and my wife is like, she's a great mom, like a mom's mom. She does a great job. So she doesn't want to leave the kids either. She like wants to hang out with the kids. So typically when we're going out to do something, the kids come with us. Every now and then, like We went to the Nuggets game last week, and that was like a date night. Just the two of us went out.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was fun. But like a lot of times, like we just like go to the zoo and take the kids. Like we go do family things now.
Yes.
And life's changed a lot in the last 5 years.
Man, you're reminding me, we had like a family pass to the zoo, I think.
Yeah, we have one.
We could go all the time that way, take them. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bringing some flashbacks back here. So, is there any other sports that you were particularly talented at? I was watching the NFL this week, and they were talking about one of the receivers was like a college basketball player. He had like a 40-something inch vertical, and he was a pro football player now. Is there something you had a knack at, or was it always wrestling? Or was there
wrestling? Yeah. It wasn't like my dad really pulled me back from like playing football, so I never got to play football. I always wanted to play, but when I was like in 8th grade and 7th grade, I was like not that big. I was like 90 pounds, and then as a 8th grader, I was like 100 pounds. Okay. So I wasn't just like that big, and my dad was so worried about me getting hurt.
Yes.
And then by the time I got big enough, when I was in high school, like wrestling had become my sport, and like the football coach, I don't know if you know Madden at the time. He was like asking me, he's like, "Hey, come play football." And at that time, I was just so sold on wrestling, like, you know, I was like, I'm not gonna get hurt playing football, and then I can't wrestle. So at that time, like, it was just like, no, can do. But it's always just been wrestling for me.
Wow. Now, bringing the wrestling into what you do in the ring, obviously it's been a big advantage to you. When I was coming up here, while I know you personally, I never really seen many of your fights other than when I watched you as an amateur.
Yeah.
So I went and watched your last fight.
Yeah.
Clearly the wrestling paid off because you body slammed that guy like a couple times so bad it was hurting me through the video screen. I was like, damn. Has that been a pretty big advantage to you, think, in the...
For sure. Like I'm very comfortable fighting on my feet. I feel, very confident in like my skills there. But at the end of the day, it's like I know that there's a one side, traffic there. If I decide to go use the wrestling, it's not. They're not stopping it. They can't.
Did you have to when you first started, going back to those days, getting back to those amateur days, were you working a whole lot on your stand-up game?
Yeah,
that was
intentionally. I think a lot of wrestlers they get in MMA and then they are afraid of the striking and they just force themselves to like wrestle so they can like win in practice. And I was the opposite. I was like, man, I need to figure out if I could fight or not. So I as soon as I got in, like I was just like standing and striking for a long time. Even like I didn't shoot for a takedown until probably like my 4th professional fight. Like 7 fights in, I didn't shoot for a takedown at all.
Really?
I was only standing and striking. Yeah.
Wow.
And I wouldn't have even done that if my manager wasn't like, hey, you should start using your wrestling a little bit too. And I was like, all right. And then now, it's become a really big part of my game.
Right.
Of implementing my wrestling.
And as you get to the upper levels, you're fighting tougher and tougher people all the time. It probably really matters. Right?
Yeah. Because it is kind of like one of those skills, like if you don't use it, you lose it. Not like you aren't good at wrestling, but just like being able to pull it out of yourself in front of people, like in the moment. Yes. If you haven't been doing it, it's hard to pull that out of yourself, like in the moment, to pull out that wrestling.
Right. You say in front of people, it reminded me of something. Look, I made this list of questions. I haven't looked at this thing yet. So we looked at like the ones we started, and we just rolling here. They're gonna make me shut up pretty quick. I'm looking at the clock here. This is good. When you're in the ring and you talk about, it makes me wonder about distractions. How do you keep the distractions out? People outside the ring yelling and stuff.
Yeah.
And people, probably your doubters, the guy that's rooting for the other guy, talking crap to you. What do you do? What do you do to wall all that crap out?
I feel like that hasn't been a big issue for me because I've had repetitions of it from wrestling. It's like since 4 years old, I've been wrestling, and then and when you start wrestling at 4 years old, you're like in a small, tiny circle, and then you got his parents over here and his coaches and your parents over, so everybody's yelling, and you're 4 years old. So when you grow up in that environment where everybody's yelling, you got to hear his people, and then you have to hear your people. Like you do a pretty good job of like learning how to drown it all out and just find the voices that you want to hear. So like I don't really even acknowledge or understand like what's going on around me except for the voices that I'm trying to draw from, and like finding my head coach's voice and like, oh, okay, he's saying do this. And even though somebody else is yelling way louder over here, I don't even know what they're saying, but I know what he's saying. Wow. It's a weird like skill of like your head being able to like pinpoint and figure out the voices and where they're coming from, and then finding the one and then keying in on that one, even though somebody else is yelling, some crazy stuff over here. It's like, I don't even know what's going on really. It's like just focused on them.
So at one of the first fights here in Denver, UFC fights, I was a doctor at the University Hospital, and they asked me to be the fight doctor.
Okay.
And actually I say UFC, it may not have been UFC, it may have been whatever the pro league was then. And they fought over at the Coliseum. And I go over there, and I'm like, I think I'm going to be the ringside doctor with the best seats, and I'm going to be watching and enjoying. Every single dude got cut up, and I was sewing them up because I felt bad for him after the fight that night. Man. But one of the things that struck me being ringside was so many people were yelling. I was wondering if the fighters were actually listening to their coaches. But you are.
Yeah.
You're tuned into them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think there's repetition in that. Like, I don't think you're just naturally going to be out there and then your coaches are yelling. Everybody's yelling, and then you're being able to key into them. Like, I've had, 1,000 to 1,200 wrestling matches.
Yes.
So I've had so many repetition of like having to be able to hear Sam's voice in front of Ball Arena, 20,000 people, or my coach's voice or my dad's voice in the crowd, or being able to having to like figure out, okay, I know they're over there, and then your brain can like lock in and like hear their voice coming in. But I've had those repetitions. I don't think it's like a natural, primal thing that just comes out of you. Like, that's a trained thing, I think.
Wow, interesting. Cool. Okay, tell me, after fighting, I know you probably haven't maybe even thought this far ahead, but I asked Corey this question, so I'm going to ask you this question.
Yeah.
I asked him, I said, because I guess, what is fighting up to about 40 or what?
That's old, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. In my head, like 36 to 38 is like around that range probably.
So and how old are you now?
I just turned 30.
Just turned 30. Oh, so you still got another 8 years probably.
Yeah.
But after that's over, you put any thought into like what you see yourself doing? Corey had told me, he said, I went to school and I got a degree in psychology or something, and he was like kind of working almost like as a social worker, helping people in that way. He saw himself maybe going back to something like that. Something you see yourself doing?
Oh, man.
If you haven't thought about it.
Yeah, I haven't thought too much about it. What I do know is that, so I coach a club team that is Pomona kids come to the club. So it's not, I don't coach at Pomona High School, but I coach for, a club. We've made this big club. It's got 250, 300 kids in it. Wow. It's like a lot of kids. So, you know what? If I want to continue building that up, and then if that becomes something that's not a business venture, but something that I could jump into and take that full time and start going, because my kids will be 12 and 10 at that time. They're going to be really ramping up and probably ideally wrestling. If not, we'll see. If not, maybe everything will steer a different direction. But I'd love to do that. And aside from that, I think it would be really good for me to do some commentating. I would like to do some
would you?
MMA commentating, things like that. I feel like I used to get told a lot that I'd be a good news anchor and stuff like that, and cool. Video guy that'd be just talking and analyzing things. And so commentating, I think, would be something that would be really interesting to me.
Yeah, and you probably have the in because one of Sam's good friends is Kale Sonnen, right? Who commentates now all these fights. So you got the in, man, through those connections.
I know, I'm gonna have to dig in there. Hey, chill, how you doing?
Oh man,
look at that.
That's good. So if you give me quickly in your life, what are your and this is the personal part, as people get that's the fighting part, and hopefully anybody who's watching us enjoyed getting those are all, I know, simple questions, but things I didn't know. So I appreciate you sharing all that about you personally. But is there something personally about you that somebody watching this might not ever guess? For example, I don't think anybody would guess that you enjoy cooking, right? I mean, that seems pretty, especially for a guy who he's got to watch what he eats and some diet and all that. But anything else, outside of that, just family-wise, priority-wise in life, maybe things that, are important to you, or what your priorities in life sit, something that somebody might not even guess.
That's a tough one. On the cooking thing, I didn't even know I could cook.
Yeah, you start rolling with it.
I was like, oh man, it's good. Oh, sweet. Yeah, that's good for me. I would say, well, I think the stigma behind being an MMA fighter, right, is you've been around a bunch, so you probably don't have it anymore, but there's a stigma that, they're aggressive and angry. I'm probably one of the most smiling and joyful people that you'll meet. Even if in the moment that you meet me, I'm straight faced and you're I don't know, he kind of doesn't look approachable. if you were to just approach me, you would get a smile within
People that know
10 seconds. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I'm just I don't take myself that too serious. You know, I'm pretty laid back and hands off when I need to act the way that I need to be. You know, when I need to bring that out of me, then I will. But I'm probably just one of the easiest going, smiling, happy people that you can meet.
You know, you're right. I bet people wouldn't guess that because it's one of the reasons I started the interview by saying, you know, for Ramos Law, I didn't know if sponsoring fighters was our thing.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know, you know, it's just that image thing, right?
Yeah.
Tough guys.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Not nice, smart, fun to hang out with, real guys, tough guys.
Yeah.
Right? And I, you know, the minute I saw you up here, again, I know who you are. And I know, you know, I know your personality and just can relate, you know. So, but that's I wouldn't picture that.
Yeah. I think most people don't. It's just like he's aggressive. Oh, he kind of looks mean. Nah, most of fighters are like kind of some of the nicest people. Yeah, you know, because they just know the other side of not being nice, and they can get there too.
Right.
They don't want to. Nobody wants to live on that side. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's not fun.
No.
All right. Okay. Last couple questions. Favorite restaurant in Denver?
Favorite restaurant in Denver. King of Wings. It's actually not in Denver.
Oh,
It's in Golden.
Okay.
There's another location in Wheat Ridge, but I'm talking about the Golden location. King of Wings. It's a really good wing spot. Oh. They do grilled wings instead of like, you know, fried wings. So they're kind of a healthier wing, but they're really good. Check them out. King of Wings.
All right,
they're really good.
I have to check that. All right. Seafood or beef, like steaks?
Oh, steaks.
No doubt you're gonna think about that one.
No. Okay. Probably like 5 years ago, if you would have asked me, I probably would have said seafood, but I really like a good steak now.
All right, nice. Water or these, you know, any sort of flavored drink like Gatorade or a sports drink?
Water.
Yeah,
just H2O. Yeah, I like just normal water.
Okay, hours of sleep a night?
8 or 9. Sometimes, you know, the kids throw a wrench in the plans, but and like ideally like 8. Me and my wife are in bed on a Friday night. It's like 9 o'clock. We're looking at each other like, wow. Okay. This is crazy, but yeah.
All right. Day at the movies or day at a sporting event, something active?
Like a sporting event.
Sporting event?
Yeah, I love sports.
Okay.
Yeah, it's cool to, like, that's what I liked when I went to the Nuggets game. I was like, it was cool watching these people in person, like, go be great at what they're doing and, like, getting the crowd to involve with them. You know, they do something, they shoot a three, they just shoot, you know, they cross somebody over and the crowd just engages. I was like, wow, this is cool. That's cool. Yeah. That's cool.
All right. Favorite fighter?
Ever?
Yeah, that can be even boxing, MMA, be anything.
Man, yeah, that's tough. If we went boxing, I'm between like two. Either Roy Jones Jr. or Floyd Mayweather.
Okay. All right.
If we're going MMA?
Yes.
Rampage Jackson.
Really?
Yeah.
Rampage Jackson.
Yeah, he was my favorite.
All right. Who would you not want to take a leg kick from?
The guy who wouldn't want to take from out of those guys?
All those guys. Any of them or anybody else.
Ooh. Let's go with the heavy guy.
Yeah.
Because those big guys.
Got to be one of those big guys. But which one is the most skilled?
Probably Alex Pereira.
Really?
Yeah. That he's a 205 champ, the light heavyweight champ. Yeah, he looks like he does some real damage. And he's like 6'4". He's like a massive guy. I don't want to get kicked by him.
Okay, who's the best striker that you would like to be like in MMA?
Canelo Alvarez.
Whoa.
Yeah, I would like to take that MMA, that boxing style, but into MMA.
Let me tell you one Mexican boxer story. So I grew up Roberto Duran. I was older than you, obviously. Yeah. So Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, that was my era. Yeah. Right. I love Roberto Duran because he was the Mexican fighter. Yeah. You know, I'm Mexican. Yeah. I liked him, right? Yeah. Years later, this is like 15 years ago. Maybe I might be off on my timeline. I'm in Vegas, and I'm over to Buddy's store, hanging out. Guy owned a pawn shop, and I go there to see him. Real cool guy. He's got this pool table in the back, and in walks Roberto Duran, and he came over there to play pool. So I got to play pool against Roberto Duran.
Ah.
Yeah, that was my striker, moment with a guy that was one of my idols from a kid.
Did you get to
Oh yeah, hang out with him.
Yeah.
Visit. Nice guy, down to earth, living there.
Sweet.
Good pool player.
Sweet.
It was fun.
That was cool.
Yeah,
That's
it
crazy.
was a lot of
And
fun.
you just you weren't expecting that, right?
Not at all.
We
He just showed up every now and then over at Steve-O's place. He'd just show up and just have me a day. I was there visiting, and come walking Roberto Duran. I'm like, swallow him. He's a real dude, normal guy.
Yeah.
He was over hanging out with the guys. It wasn't like with some entourage or anything. Just him. He's going over hang out with the guys, play a little pool. It's like, wow.
And that was your favorite. He was your favorite
He
fighter.
was my favorite fighter.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that was pretty special time in my life of following the fighting. In my era, it was all boxing.
Yeah.
The MMA hadn't taken off. But,
Yeah.
pretty cool. What do you think about boxing in general? Is as an MMA guy, is it one of these things where MMA guys look down on boxers, or
I don't.
not at all?
No.
Think about that.
I don't. That's what I first wanted to do. When I was a kid, I used to ask my dad to let me box because I was watching Roy Jones and some of the Mike Tysons and just watching these guys. I'm like, man, these guys Roy Jones was so crazy. It was so crazy the things he was doing. It's world class fighters. He was making them look completely out of his world. And I'd ask my dad. He was like, you're not doing that to your head. You can't. not at 12 years old. He would have let me do that stuff. So for me, no, I have a high praise for boxing because. Man, the way that they can stay in the pocket and find these shots on world class guys, it's crazy.
Did you happen to see that when when Floyd Mayweather fought Conor?
Yeah.
Did you watch that?
I watched that one.
Yeah, that was
a good fight.
It was a good fight.
It was entertaining and they put on a good show. Conor did really well.
Yeah,
for the first couple of rounds, and then boxers do what boxers do in a boxing fight. But
that was impressive. Anything before we wrap up that I haven't asked you that you'd like to share with the audience? Anything at all? When's your next fight? How about that?
Yeah.
Is that on the calendar yet?
Nope, nothing official. I'm told that I'm going to be fighting sometime in February or March.
Okay.
We're kind of in this weird spot right now where they're looking at this different guy. The champion called for a different opponent, so they're looking at that guy to be the next opponent. But if anything is to happen and change, we could easily be fighting for the world title.
Oh wow!
In that time frame, so
wow.
Cool. I'm not praying for anything bad to happen to that guy by any means, but I'll be ready.
You're gonna train like it's you.
I'll be ready in February if that's my call.
Wow! Congratulations. That's super exciting. And that's not within your control, right? That's just something you just hear about. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
If somebody watching wanted to follow you, and they wanted to kind of see where they go to pick up your fights or pick up your schedule or all that, where would they go?
Yeah. So you could follow me on Instagram. That's probably my most active social media, and that's just King_Colgan, Colgan. And then I have a Facebook as well. Just Archie Colgan MMA. Twitter's the same, King Colgan. And then if you wanted to follow up on the promotion, it would just be PFL MMA.
Okay.
And that's the promotion that I fight for.
There they can find out when you're fighting, who you're fighting, exact dates, all that stuff.
Yep.
Well, man, good luck when that fight comes up.
Thank you, Dr.
Proud of you.
I appreciate it.
And appreciate the opportunity for you to represent our brand, and hopefully we represent your brand as well as you represent ours. So
yes, sir.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks.